What's going on? We back because the Boxing Clinic more. Back with a POV. It's your boy CJ Goodfella. Talking about, why do fans feel like they have to wait for the fights that they want to see. People saying, Wilder and Joshua, it'll happen. Keith Thurman and Smith, it'll happen. Danny Jacobs and, Charlo, it'll happen. Charlo and Triple G, it'll happen. Tank and Lomachenko, it'll happen. Why has it become the norm that boxing fans already had an expectation that they're going to have to wait for the premium fights and the big fights or just the good fights they want to see? It's crazy because, they done broke these, boxing down to 4 sanctioned belt bodies and then when you get a championship belt, you don't be ranked in the other alphabet belts and you get to avoid people because you're a champion and all that other type of shit. It's acceptable ducking, guys accept it, and then, more times than not, the guy who pushing for the fight getting more hate than the guy that's avoiding the fight. Real shit. You had exceptions where people, you had your exceptions where people, bash the guy that's ducking or whatever it may be. But most of the time, the guy that's pushing for the fight, the hungry guy on the up and up, people are bashing. Oh, what has he done? He hasn't done nothing to deserve this fight. I mean, how do you get shit done, without having a dance partner? Why is it frowned upon in boxing nowadays that the dude that's hungry and want to be, want aggressive, want to write, want a piece of the title, want to prove that he the best on the up and up? Why does he get the backlash? You feel me? Why do he get the backlash? Why he get the hate? Oh, he ain't did this. Oh, you bumming that nature, whatever it may be. And I think it's just a simple fact that fans just don't like certain fighters, especially in America. They don't like certain guys, and it is what it is. For whatever reason it may be, they just don't. Most of these American boxing fans that's non-black, and some that are black, they just don't. They don't support their champions. They really don't. People say, well, Terrence Crawford, his city show off. I mean, yeah, but if he goes fight in New York City, he goes to fight in, Florida or whatever, or fans in the black community truly going to support, Terrence Crawford like he should be supported like the pound champion he is? No. Roy Jones didn't have, people like Roy Jones, but he didn't have, 15,000 Brits like, like Ricky had 15,000 Brits who came over to Vegas to watch him fight Floyd and Pacquiao. They don't get that type of following in boxing. And for the main reason, a lot of black people don't have the means to travel and spend money to go to fight the fight like the guys over there in the UK. You barely see, 5% of, minority, especially blacks at American major sports events. The only time I see, more blacks at a major sport event, maybe MLB, Major League Baseball, hockey, basketball, NFL, is Atlanta Hawks game. Is the most blackest arena I've ever seen, in professional sports. So you don't get that support. You know what I'm saying? You don't get that in America. No matter what, you don't get that. And, I used to say that back in the day with like James Brown and stuff. And when they used to put, white singers on the cover, but use the black people music they use the white covers, white people on the cover to sell the music because they said blacks didn't have the means to buy records. And I think, blacks don't have the means really to go out there and support, guys fight the fight. It's expensive. It's expensive to fly. And a lot of people in the black community in the hood have never been outside their hood and never really been outside their metropolitan area. And that could be, one reason why they don't get the big support that they deserve. But, I mean, it is what it is. But, to get right back on track and topic, I don't understand why people just expect to wait, it'll happen, and just think it's God's will that you or the fighters or anybody else just get to see the next day. Tomorrow is not promised. I'm a firm believer in that. And, like I said, we shouldn't be waiting for these fights. This ain't no Pacquiao Mayweather. And it seemed like that definitely poisoned the boxing game, in my opinion. Pacquiao Mayweather, people, these fighters and these fans had expectations that they need to wait for these fights for a day to get built up to be pay-per-view-esque fights, that they can be big fights. No, you didn't always get the big fights back in the day. Sometimes they fought and it was a legendary fight. And they might not have been at their pinnacle of their career popularity-wise, but they fought and it was a classic fight, And that's what you need to do. They need to build these classic fights up. Stop trying to, they need to just make them happen. Fuck building them up. Let these guys fight each other. You know, we don't need to continue to be waiting for fights that we should be getting now, right now, ASAP, as soon as possible. You know, Keith Thurman and Earl Spence will never be a million pay-per-view type of fight. It's not even a pay-per-view fight. Pay-per-view model is dying. But what it can do, if they can fight on free TV and CBS, they can bring more fans to the game. And that's the issue with boxing. You know, fans got to continue to wait for the fights they want to see. And then when they see it, you got to pay $60, $70. And the fight don't live up to the hype. Or you got to pay a $15 subscription fee to see them fight. It's not an accessible sport like it should be. But guys are, fans, make excuses for the fighters. Oh, Tank ain't got to fight Lomachenko at 23. Where was Lomachenko at? Oh, Joshua only got 20 fights. I mean, oh, yeah. He don't have to fight Wilder until you get experience up. I mean, anytime you got to make an excuse for another grown man is pitiful. You as pitiful as that man is, No more waiting for fights, man. They needed to get these fights now. You don't see no other sport making people wait for fights, or making people wait for the greatest, the greatest thing they have to offer. However it breaks down, at the end of the day, you get the NBA Finals in June. You get the October Classic World Series in October. You get, the hockey, you get that when you're supposed to get it. In UFC, you get top fights all the time. Why is it in boxing it's any different? These guys should be fighting each other now. And stop trying to let the money build up. The money going to be there. If you continue to win and you believe that you're going to win, big fights going to arrive. It's always going to be new players in boxing. That's what makes boxing sweet. Because it's always going to be guys climbing that ladder. It's always going to be a new flow of fighters coming in. It's always going to be a new foe. It's always the ability to catch weight, move up, move down, and continue to move up and prove that you're the best and fight top competition. It's always going to be new foes in boxing. So the excuse is, if these guys, he continue to fight each other twice a year and have big fights, it ain't going to be nothing left to do. That's what you got weight classes for. That's what you got up-and-coming prospects for. That's why you got, 1,000 guys from different countries fighting that had a right to fight, and you never know. The time for waiting for fights is over with. I think people, these fighters think they Pacquiao Mayweather. You're not. Nobody want to wait to see you fight. It's going to get old quick, fast, in a hurry. They need to continue to fight now and get these fights happening to get boxing